हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। तो आज की वीडियो में हम देखने वाले हैं एनसीईआरटी इकोनॉमिक्स का टेस्ट सीरीज़, जिसमें आज हम देखेंगे सेट 7। तो शुरू करते हैं हमारा आज का टेस्ट सीरीज़, और आप भी मेरे साथ अटेंड कीजिए, और अगर आपको आंसर आता है तो मुझे कमेंट्स में बताइए। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स अबाउट IRDA. IRDA is involved only with insurance, wherein reinsurance is related directly with the Ministry of Finance. IRDA promotes and regulates professional organizations connected with the insurance and reinsurance business. IRDA regulates investments of funds by the insurance companies. Which among the above statements is or are correct? This answer is option B. Only B and C are correct. IRDA promotes and regulates professional organizations connected with the insurance and reinsurance business, and IRDA regulates investment of funds by the insurance companies. The term used interchangeably for the inclusive growth is shared growth, broad-based growth, pro-core growth. Choose the correct one. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी. All 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Shared growth, broad-based growth and pro-core growth. What is correct about the popular idea of triple bottom line? This is an idea of promoting higher growth rates together with keeping inflation and wages both to their lower sides. The idea of promoting higher growth rates together with keeping stable inflation and exchange rates. The idea of generating social and environmental good together with money profits by the corporate houses. The idea of promoting higher export growth rates without cutting down imports and export subsidies. This answer is option C. The idea of generating social and environmental goods together with money profits by the corporate houses. Which of the following interest rate is still regulated? Savings account interest rate, fixed deposit interest rate, current account interest rate. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. This answer is option D, none. International Development Association is called the soft window of the World Bank because it lends for software and IT development. Taking loans from it is very easy. Its loans are interest free. None. This answer is option C. Its loans are interest free. Public distribution system means distribution of essential commodities to a large number of people through a network of fair price shops on a recurring basis. The commodities distributed under PDS are wheat, rice, sugar, pulses, kerosene. Select the correct option. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, ऑल ऑफ द अबव. wheat, rice, sugar, pulses and kerosene. Development expenditure would include expenditure on building roads, debt service liabilities, grant in aid. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, 1 and 3 only. Expenditure on building roads and grants in aid. Which of the statements given below is or are incorrect? NDP equals to GDP minus depreciation. GNP equals to GDP plus net income from abroad. NNP equals to GNP plus depreciation. Per capita income of the nation equals to NNP by total population. तो इसमें इनकरेक्ट पूछा है, तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन सी, NNP equals to GNP plus depreciation. Which of the following represents disposable income? Personal income added with direct tax, personal income minus direct tax, personal income minus personal current tax, personal income minus indirect tax. तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन सी, पर्सनल इनकम माइनस पर्सनल करंट टैक्सेस. Net domestic product of the economy will tend to be more than the net national product if the level of production in the private sector of the economy increases, the level of production in the public sector of the economy increases, the level of production in both organized and unorganized sector of the economy increases, the net earnings from abroad are negative. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, the net earnings from abroad are negative. Consider the following statements and identify the correct one. The ratio of proportionate change in tax revenue to proportionate change in GDP is known as tax elasticity. The ratio of proportionate change in adjusted tax revenue to proportionate change in GDP is known as tax buoyancy. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. This answer option D, neither one nor two. The government has powers under the Essential Commodities Act 1955 to declare a commodity as an essential commodity to ensure its availability to people at fair price. The commodities covered under the Act include paper, hang can, fertilizers, petroleum and petroleum products, cotton and jute seeds. This answer option D, 2, 3, 4 and 5 option. Hang can, fertilizer, petroleum and petroleum products, cotton and jute seeds. The non-portable charges or charged expenditure included in the union budget include salary and allowances of the presiding officers of the House of Parliament, salary and allowances of the judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts, salary and allowances of the CAG, pension of the retired judges of the Supreme Court, pension of the retired judges of High Courts. Select the options which is or are correct. This answer option D, all of them. Salary and allowances of the presiding officers of the Houses of Parliament, salary and allowances of judges of the Supreme Court and High Court, salary and allowances of CAG, pension of the retired judges of the Supreme Court, pension of the retired judges of High Court. Under the system of laissez-faire, all economic decisions are left to market. The government has negligible role. This answer option C, both 1 and 2. All economic decisions are left to market and the government has negligible role. With reference to narrow money, consider the following statements. They are highly liquid. Banks run the lending program mainly with this money. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? This answer option A, 1 only. They are highly liquid. Which of the following is or are true about performance of 11th 5-year plan? It accelerated the agricultural growth significantly. It lowered down the poverty at much faster rate. Real wages in agriculture have shown northward trend. It achieved an overall growth rate of 7.9%. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. This answer option D, all of the above. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Consider the following statements. Agriculture was much emphasized in second 5-year plan. The emphasis was given to industries in first 5-year plan. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? This answer option D, neither 1 nor 2. Credit default swaps can be beneficial for an economy as they help in redistribution of loans, enhance investment opportunities, leads to loan waivers. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. This answer option A, 1 and 2 only. Helps in redistribution of loans and enhance investment opportunities. What is the correct decreasing order of important taxes with respect to tax revenue collected by the government? Central excise, customs duty, service tax, corporation tax, income tax, customs duty, central excise, income tax, corporation tax, customs duty, central excise, corporation tax, income tax, service tax, customs duty. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, कॉर्पोरेशन टैक्स, इनकम टैक्स, सर्विस टैक्स, कस्टम ड्यूटीज. The salient features of direct tax code bill include: it indicates stability in direct tax rate, it strengthens taxation provision for international transaction. Choose the correct one. This answer is option C, both 1 and 2. It indicates stability in direct tax rates and it strengthens taxation provision for international transactions. Consider the following regarding zero-based budgeting. It was first adopted by Jimmy Carter in US. It was introduced as a concept by Peter Fire. According to the concept, government prepares budget in such a way that there is no budget in the past, so that each item of the expenditure on its merit rather than with reference to the past. Choose the correct one. तो इसका आंसर है Option D, all 1, 2, and 3. It was first adopted by Jimmy Carter in US. It was introduced as a concept by Peter Fair. According to the concept, government prepares budget in such a way that there is no budget in the past, so that each item of expenditure on its merit rather than with reference to the past. The capital expenditure of the central government includes creation of physical assets, loans of state governments, repayment of loans. Choose the correct one. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, ऑल 1, 2 and 3. Creation of physical assets, loans of state government, repayment of loans. Monetized deficit means borrowings made from the RBI. It is resorted to when the government finds it difficult to borrow from the market. Which of the statements is correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. Borrowings made from the RBI, and it is resorted to when the government finds it difficult to borrow from the market. Non-tax revenue of the central government consists of interest and dividend receipts, receipts for the supply of central police force, royalty from offshore oil fields, registration of companies. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Interest and dividend receipts, receipts for the supply of central police force, royalty from offshore oil fields, and registration of companies. Consider the following statements in respect of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. It lays down limits for revenue deficit and fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP. It applies to both central and state governments. It does not permit the central government to give guarantees to loans raised by PSUs and state governments beyond 0.5% of GDP. It prescribes an upper limit for the liabilities of the government. Which of these statements are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, 1, 3 and 4. Consider the following statements regarding fiscal policy. Fiscal consolidation means improvement in government finances and maintaining the same. Fiscal consolidation is critical as it can enable government to spend more on infrastructure and social sectors. Tax reforms, disinvestment, better targeting of subsidies are the hallmarks of fiscal consolidation. Of these statements, option A, 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Direct taxation is a better form of taxation because it fetches more revenue, it can be more easily collected, it allows for taxation according to means, it has greater tax compliance. This answer is option C, it allows for taxation according to means. In context of the present ceiling on investment for categorization of various enterprises as micro, small and medium manufacturing enterprises, which of the following statements are correct? A micro enterprise is an enterprise where the investment is in equipment does not exceed rupees 25 lakh. A small enterprise is an enterprise where the investment in equipment is more than rupees 25 lakh but does not exceed rupees 5 crore. A medium enterprise is an enterprise where the investment in the equipment is more than rupees 5 crore but does not exceed rupees 10 crore. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, all of them. According to the theory of optimum population, population in a country will be optimum at the level at which its per capita income is maximum, its national income is maximum, its national wealth is maximum, none of these. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, its per capita income is maximum. Which of the following statements regarding the viability cap funding scheme is not true? Under VGF, the central government makes up to 20% of capital cost of a project being implemented in public-private partnership mode. The scheme is administered by the Ministry of Finance. Sectors eligible for VGF are infrastructure, health, and education. VGF is a force multiplier enabling government to leverage its resources more effectively. तो इसमें नॉट ट्रू पूछा है, तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन सी. सेक्टर्स एलिजिबल फॉर VGF आर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, हेल्थ एंड एजुकेशन. ये स्टेटमेंट गलत है. Twin deficit in an economy means high current account deficit and high fiscal deficit, high capital account deficit and high fiscal deficit, high current account deficit and high capital account deficit, high budget deficit and high fiscal deficit. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, हाई करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट एंड हाई फिस्कल डेफिसिट. Indian currency printing institutions are located in which of the following places? Nasik, Mysore, Salboni, Aurangabad, Debas. Select the correct option. This answer is option C 1, 2, 3 and 5. Nasik, Mysore, Salboni and Debas. What is the current sequence of state on the basis of population size of the state? उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार, महाराष्ट्र, वेस्ट बंगाल. उत्तर प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र, बिहार, वेस्ट बंगाल. उत्तर प्रदेश, वेस्ट बंगाल, महाराष्ट्र, बिहार. उत्तर प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र, वेस्ट बंगाल, बिहार. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, उत्तर प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र, बिहार, वेस्ट बंगाल. Consider the following reasons: lack of irrigation facilities, low productivity of land, single crop mode of cultivation, Indian agriculture's dependence on the monsoon. Which of the reasons given above is or are responsible for the migration of people from rural to urban areas for the search of livelihood in Indian economy? This answer is option A 1, 2 and 3. Lack of irrigation facilities, low productivity of land, single crop mode of cultivation and Indian agriculture's dependence on the monsoon. The securities approved to be kept as a pledge for satisfying SLR norms includes: government security is a tradable instrument issued by the central government or the state governments. The central government issues both treasury bills and bonds or dated securities. The state governments issue only bonds or dated securities, which are called the state development loans. Government securities are called risk-free, gilt-edged instruments. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी 1, 2, 3 and 4. Consider the following statements. CRR deposits in RBI on interest for banks. OMO of the RBI is nothing but purchase and sale of government securities in the open market. Which of the statements given above is or are incorrect? तो इसमें इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट पूछा है, तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन ए 1 ओनली. India and Japan have expanded their bilateral currency swap agreement designed to help each other in the event of a forex crisis or a short-term liquidity crisis. Under this agreement, Bank of Japan will give dollars for rupees to the RBI. Bank of Japan will give dollars to Indian infrastructure companies for importing. RBI will take yen and give rupees to Bank of Japan. When forex reserve deplete in India of Japan, this agreement will become operative. Select the correct statement using the codes given below. This answer is option C 1 and 4 only. Bank of Japan will give dollars for rupees to the RBI. And when forex reserves deplete in India of Japan, this agreement will become operative. Which of the following banks was not nationalized in 1969? Allahabad Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, Union Bank of India, Corporation Bank. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी कॉर्पोरेशन बैंक. Which of the following are the provisions of SARFAESI Act which enables banks to reduce their non-performing assets? Enforcement of security interest by secured creditor, transfer of non-performing assets to asset reconstruction company, which will then dispose of those assets and release the proceeds. to provide a legal framework for securitization of assets, assisting banks in making the credibility track record of customers under Credit Information Bureau of India (CIBIL). तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी 1, 2 and 3. The determination of interest rates are inflation, growth rate, saving percentage, government's borrowing need, demand, global economic trends. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. This answer is option D 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Inflation, growth rate, savings percentage, government's borrowing needs, demand, global economic trends. Which of the following prices is or are fixed by the central government? Maximum retail price, minimum support price, fair and remunerative price. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. Its answer is option D 2 and 3 only, minimum support price and fair and remunerative prices. The first indigenous bank which came into existence in 1894 was the Central Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, Reserve Bank of India, Imperial Bank of India. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ इंडिया. Consider the following statements. In India, the RBI is planning to introduce 1 billion pieces of rupees 10 notes in polymer or plastic on a trial basis in Kochi, Mysore, Jaipur, Bhubaneswar and Simla. Polymer notes would be suitable for tropical and subtropical conditions, and the lifeline could be more than 4 times longer than their paper equivalent for even lower denomination notes, which are used more frequently. Pioneered by Australia, the plastic currency notes are already in use across a number of other countries including Singapore, Canada, New Zealand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Fiji, Brunei, Papua New Guinea and Romania. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. इसका आंसर ऑप्शन डी ऑल द अबव. 1, 2, 3. Consider the following functions. Issue of bank notes of all denomination, lender of the last resort, underwrite the loans of state and central governments, periodic inspection of commercial banks. Which of the above are function of the Reserve Bank of India? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए 1, 2 and 4. Issue bank notes of all denomination, lender of the last resort, and periodic inspection of commercial banks. Consider the following statements. External commercial borrowings are being permitted as an additional source of funds to all Indian corporates and PSUs. The Government of India permits ECBs as a source of finance for Indian corporates for expansion of existing capacity as well as for fresh investment. Which of the statements given above is are correct? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी ओनली 2. The Forwards Market Commission, which regulates commodity trading, is under the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Consumer Affairs. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस. Which among the following is a correct definition of fiduciary issue of notes? The issue of currency notes without metallic backing, the issue of currency notes with metallic backing, the issue of currency notes with partial metallic backing, the issue of currency note with proportional metallic backing. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी द इशू ऑफ करेंसी नोट विथ पार्शियल मेटालिक बैकिंग. Consider the following statements about Indian depository receipts. They allow foreign investors to invest in Indian companies. They are denominated in Indian rupees. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी 2 only. They are denominated in Indian rupees. The oldest stock exchange of India is Bombay Stock Exchange, Ahmedabad Stock Exchange, Bangalore Stock Exchange, Hyderabad Stock Exchange. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज। Microfinance includes which of the following? Small loans, small deposits, money transfer, payment services. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी 1, 2, 3 and 4. Small loans, small deposits, money transfer and payment services. Consider the following statements regarding takeout financing. It is for infrastructure projects which have long gestation period. It helps to prevent any possible asset liability mismatch. Which of the above statements is correct? तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी both 1 and 2. Which one of the following is not correctly matched? NCDEX Agri Commodity Exchange, MCX Multi Commodity Exchange, NYSE Nifty, BSE Sensex. तो इसका आंसर है इसमें इनकरेक्ट नॉट करेक्टली मैच बोला है, तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी NYSE निफ्टी। Which among the following are the wholly or partially owned subsidiaries of the Reserve Bank of India? Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation, National Housing Bank, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. This answer is option D, all of them 1, 2, 3 and 4. Which sector has received maximum FDI during 2014 to 15? Service, telecommunication, computer software and hardware, infrastructure. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए सर्विस। Consider the following. The World Bank constituted India Aid Club in 1950 to provide financial assistance to India. Aid India Club was a consortium of the major lending countries. Which of the statements is correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी both 1 and 2. Inclusive growth is an important objective of the development process. In this context, which of the following would amount to inclusive growth? Poverty reduction, disinvestment, good governance, skill building. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी 1, 3 and 4 only. Poverty reduction, good governance and skill building. Which of the following are true about Special Economic Zone in India? Under the SEZ Act 2005, it is basically duty-free enclaves for establishing both manufacturing and service industry. It is considered as foreign territory only for foreign trade. Domestic sales from the zones are subject to full customs duty and import policy in force. It offers full freedom for subcontracting. No routine examination by customs authority of export or import cargo. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी 1, 2, 3 and 4. National treatment is an important policy of WTO. NT means all countries must not discriminate between imported and domestic product. WTO members must not discriminate between imported and domestic product. Exported products of a WTO member state must not be discriminated by other members vis-a-vis domestic products. Both B and C. तो इसका आंसर ऑप्शन डी both B and C. WTO members must not discriminate between imported and domestic product, and exported products of a WTO member state must not be discriminated by other members vis-a-vis domestic product. Consider the following statement regarding exit options to the foreign investors. The non-resident investors of listed companies can exit at the market price prevailing at the stock exchanges. The lock-in period for defense and construction sector has been kept at 3 years, unlike the other sectors where it will be at least 1 year. Which of the statement given above is correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी both 1 and 2. What would be the consequence of increasing the export subsidies? The export would become cheaper, export would become more competitive, there would be more inflow of foreign exchange, The domestic sector of the country to which the subsidized goods are exported to would be adversely affected. Which of the above statements is or are correct? So इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी 1, 2 and 4. The export would become cheaper, exports would become more competitive, and the domestic sector of the country to which the subsidized goods are exported to would be adversely affected. By devaluation, we mean a fall in the domestic value of a currency, a fall in the external value of a currency caused by the market forces, a fall in the external value of a currency caused by the government action, none of the above. This answer option C, a fall in the external value of a currency caused by the government action. Consider the following statements regarding the Foreign Investment Promotion Board (FIPB). FIPB's functions are concerned with FDI through both automatic and government approval route. Recommendation of FIPB for proposals up to Rs 1200 crore are approved by Ministry of Finance. A recommendation for proposal of more than Rs 1200 crore needs to be approved by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. FIPB is mandated to play an important role in the administration and implementation of the government's FDI policy. Which of the above statements is or are correct? This answer option B, 2, 3 and 4. National Rural Livelihood Mission, renamed as Ajivika and implemented in mission mode across the country since 2011. The features of Ajivika include one male member from each identified rural poor household to be brought under the SSG network. It ensures 50% of beneficiaries are selected from set-7. It promotes innovation. This answer option B, 2 and 3 only. It ensures 50% of beneficiaries are selected from set-7 and it promotes innovation. Which of the following are statements not true about Janasri Bima Yojana? Both rural and urban poor persons below the poverty line are eligible under this scheme. Persons between the age 18 years and 59 years are eligible. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. तो इसमें नॉट ट्रू पूछा है तो इसलिए इसका आंसर होगा नाइदर 1 नॉट 2, क्योंकि दोनों स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट है. Consider the following statements about the National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture started in India in 2010. National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture aims at enhancing food security and protection of resources such as land, water, biodiversity and genetic resources. National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture is one of the very important programs under the National Action Program on Climate Change. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Please consider option C, both 1 and 2. Which of the following about the National Food Security Mission launched by Indian government are correct? The initiatives taken by the government under the National Food Security Mission have resulted in an increase of 42 million tons in food grains production against a target of 20 million tons in the 11th 5-year plan. The targets of 11th 5-year exceeded and it was extended to 12th 5-year plan in 2012. In the 12th plan, NFSM aims at raising the food grain production by 25 million tons. Besides rice, wheat and pulses, NFSM proposes to cover core cereals and fodder crops during the 12th plan period. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, नाइदर 1 नॉट 2. Consider the following statements. India produces 85% of its urea requirement, but there is heavy dependence on imports for phosphatic and potassic fertilizers. Farmers pay less than 50% of the cost of fertilizer production. Which of these statements is or not correct? This answer is option C, both 1 and 2. The prices at which the government purchases food grains for maintaining the public distribution system and for building up buffer stock is known as minimum support prices. procurement prices, issue prices, ceiling prices. This can answer option B, procurement prices. The trade facilitation agreement of the WTO says that farm subsidies cannot be more than 10% of the gross domestic product of a country, value of agricultural production, national income of a country, value of agricultural exports. This answer option B, value of agricultural production. The priority sector lending includes small scale industry, small business, agricultural activities, education. Choose the correct one. This answer option D, all 1, 2, 3 and 4. Small scale industry, small business, agricultural activities and education. Which of the following is or are used as an indicator in calculating multidimensional poverty index? Maternal mortality, nutrition, access to electricity, access to telephone. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. This answer is option C, 2 and 3 only, nutrition and access to electricity. If there is a lack of money supply in comparison to supply of goods and services, then the possible consequence would be inflation, deflation, devaluation, hyperinflation. This answer is option B, deflation. Non-performing assets of commercial banks means their loans fetching very low rate of interest, for which interest or installment has remained unpaid well after due date, which have not been disbursed at all, given to sick industrial units. This answer is option B, for which interest or installment has remained unpaid well after due date. Consider the following statements regarding Banking Ombudsman Scheme in India. The Banking Ombudsman Scheme was first introduced in India in 1996 and was revised in 2002. The current scheme became operative from 1st January 2006 and replaced and superseded the Banking Ombudsman Scheme 2002. Banking Ombudsman is a quasi-judicial authority functioning under India's Banking Ombudsman Scheme 2006, and the authority was created pursuant to a decision by the Government of India to enable resolution of complaints of customers of banks relating to certain services rendered by the banks. Of these statements, option B, 2 and 3 are correct. Which of the following activities would Small Industries Development Bank of India undertake under the new Rural Industrialization Program? Consultation in erecting the project, providing marketing assistance and refinance facilities at later stage, running the project during initial stage. This answer is option A, only 1 and 2. Consultation in erecting the project and providing marketing assistance and refinancing facilities at later stage. Consider the following statements. NABARD was established by the Act of Parliament to take over the role of Agricultural Refinance Development Corporation. Rural Infrastructure Development Fund is managed by SIDBI. Which of the statements given above is correct? This answer is option A, only 1. Which one of the following statements is incorrect about reverse mortgage? It is a kind of loan through which one can get cash flow serially in return for pledging a property to a bank. It is a conveyance of an asset by a borrower to a lender as security for a loan. This scheme originated in the USA. The eligibility criteria set by the RBI states that the person should be above 60 years of age and own a home to avail this mortgage. इसका आंसर है, इसमें इनकरेक्ट पूछा है तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी. इट इज़ ए कन्वेंस ऑफ एन एसेट बाय ए बोरोअर टू ए लेंडर एज सिक्योरिटी फॉर ए लोन. ये स्टेटमेंट गलत है. Which of the following is not a correct difference between commercial banks and other financial institutions? The deposits with the commercial banks can be withdrawn on demand or otherwise, whereas deposits kept with other financial institutions are normally contracted for a specified period. Commercial banks can accept cash deposits and all other negotiable instruments, while other financial institutions can accept only cash deposit. Commercial banks have day-to-day interaction with the customers, while it is not so with financial institutions. Commercial banks keep a ratio of their shares with the RBI, while it is not so in the case of financial institution. तो इसमें नॉट करेक्ट डिफरेंस बोला है, तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन बी. कमर्शियल बैंक कैन एक्सेप्ट कैश डिपॉजिट्स एंड ऑल अदर नेगोशिएबल इंस्ट्रूमेंट वाइल अदर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन कैन एक्सेप्ट ओनली कैश डिपॉजिट्स. ये स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट डिफरेंस नहीं है. Select the incorrect statements taken from the census 2011. The proportion of a child population has come down to 13.1% from 15.9% of the total population since the last census. 52% of the child population resides in the 5 states of India: Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Child population registered a negative growth rate of 3.08 between 2001 and 2011. Literacy rate has improved by 7.91% between 2001 and 2011. तो इसका आंसर है, इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट बोला है, तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी. लिटरेसी रेट हैज़ इम्प्रूव्ड बाय 7.9% बिटवीन 2001 एंड 11. ये स्टेटमेंट गलत है. Which of the following is correct about second stage of the theory of demographic transition? The gap between birth rate and death rate starts increasing. The gap is maximum between birth rate and death rate. It is known as the stage of population explosion. All the above. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी. It is known as the stage of population explosion. Consider the following statements regarding capital gain. A capital gain tax is a voluntary tax payable on the sale of assets, investments, capital accumulation, and productivity. In case of a long-term capital gain related to sale of property, factors such as inflation are usually taken into consideration. If you sell an investment within 4 years from the date of its purchase, it will be defined as a short-term capital gain. Of the statements, option C, 1 and 2 are correct. Read the following statements carefully about general anti-avoidance rules and choose the correct statement from the course given below. GAAR is a set of general rules enacted so as to check the tax avoidance. Anti-avoidance rules are broadly divided into 2 categories, namely general and specific. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, both 1 and 2. Consider the following: nationalization of the State Bank of India, setting up the subsidiaries of State Bank of India, enactment of Banking Regulation Act, nationalization of a group of commercial bank. The chronological order of their enactment or setting up is, तो इसका पहले आएगा enactment of Banking Regulation Act, फिर आएगा nationalization of State Bank of India, उसके बाद है setting up of subsidiaries of State Bank of India और लास्ट में नेशनलाइजेशन ऑफ ए ग्रुप ऑफ कमर्शियल बैंक. तो इसका आंसर होगा ऑप्शन डी, 3, 1, 2, 4. By financing a plan, we mean raising financial resources to execute the program incorporated in a plan, matching financial resources to physical targets, reducing the size of the plan to bring it in line with the available resources, implementation and realization of the plan targets. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, रेजिंग फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज टू एग्जीक्यूट द प्रोग्राम इनकॉर्पोरेटेड इन ए प्लान. The Planning Commission of India was set up on the 15 March 1948, 15 March 1950, 15 March 1951, 15 March 1952. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी, 15 मार्च 1950. Consider the following statements. The minimum support price policy in India covers only wheat, paddy, and coarse cereals. The minimum support price for grade A paddy is always higher than the common paddy. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? This can answer option B, only 2. The minimum support price for grade A paddy is always higher than the common paddy. The basic objectives of the public distribution system are to improve distribution of basic goods, to control process of essential commodities, to maintain good quality at low cost, to bring stability in prices. All the above. This can answer option D, all the above. To improve distribution of basic goods, to control process of essential commodities, and to maintain good quality at low cost, to bring stability in prices. This state has been identified as having the ideally suited topography and climate for the cultivation of oranges. In a recent report of the Export-Import Bank of India, as per a GOI declaration, the state is also stated to be the first fully organic state too. This options are Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Sikkim, Manipur. This can answer option C, Sikkim. Select the correct set of impact on an economy when there is an inflationary pressure on it. Use the code given below. Domestic currency heads for depreciation. Exports become less competitive with imports getting costlier. Please answer option C, 1 and 3. Domestic currency heads for depreciation and real cost of borrowing decreases. Consider the following statements. The International Development Association is an international financial institution which offers concessional loans and grants to the world's poorest developing countries. India is the largest borrower of IDA, which helps poorest countries. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? This can answer option C, both 1 and 2. Which of the following stock market terms are correctly defined? Hedge is a strategy used to reduce the risk of adverse price movements in a security by making a transaction that offsets an existing position in a related security. Open order is an order to buy or sell securities that remains in the system for more than one day. Price earnings ratio is the valuation ratio of a company's current share price compared to its per share earnings. Strike price is the price at which a specific derivative contract can be exercised. This can answer option E, only 1 and 4. With reference to functions of Security Exchange Board of India, consider the following statement. It has power to ensure the orderly development of capital market. It has power to protect the investors in the capital market. It has power to ensure proper functioning of insurance market in India. It has power to regulate the merchant banking in India. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? This can answer option D, 1, 2 and 4. Consider the following statements. Gold import is a major factor in current account deficit of India. CAD occurs when a country's total imports of goods, services and transfers is greater than the country's total export of goods, services and transport. A short-term and small CAD can boost economic growth. Which of the above statements is or are correct? This can answer option A, 1, 2 and 3. Consider the following statements regarding India's rising exports of rice. The domestic procurement prices of rice are lower than the exported value of rice. The domestic procurement prices of rice are greater than the exported value of rice. India displaced Thailand as the world's largest exporter of rice recently. Exporters can access supplies in the open market only by offering prices higher than the procurement price. Which of the above statements is or are correct? This can answer option B, 1, 3 and 4. With reference to India's international trade, consider the following statements. For more than a decade, Indian export growth story has been dominated by the services sector. More than 75% of Indian export of services commodities is mainly software services. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन ए ओनली वन. For more than a decade, Indian export growth story has been dominated by the service sector. Consider the following statement. India is the sixth largest producer of coffee. India's share in global area under coffee is about 2%. India contributes about 4% to world coffee production as well as in the international trade. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी 1, 2 and 3. India is the sixth largest producer of coffee. India's share in global area under coffee is about 2%, and India contributes about 4% to world coffee production as well as in the international trade. Consider the following statements. India is one of the first in Asia to recognize the effectiveness of the export processing zone. Asia's first export processing zone was set up in Kandla, India in 1965. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन सी both 1 and 2. Which of the following can aid in furthering the government's objective of inclusive growth, promoting self-help groups, promoting micro, small and medium enterprises, implementing the Right to Education Act? Select the correct answer using the codes given below. इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी 1, 2 and 3. Promoting self-help groups, promoting micro, small and medium enterprises and implementing the Right to Education Act. With reference to foreign direct investment, which of the following statements is or are correct? The United States is the world's largest recipient of FDI. FDI in China is also known as renminbi, foreign direct investment. FDI provides an inflow of foreign capital and funds investment in addition to an increase in the transfer of skills, technology and job opportunities. All of the above. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी all of the above. The United States is the world's largest recipient of FDI. FDI in China is also known as renminbi, foreign direct investment, and FDI provides an inflow of foreign capital and funds investment in addition to an increase in the transfer of skills, technology and job opportunities. Consider the following statements. The price of any currency in international market is decided by the World Bank. Demand for goods or services provided by the country concerned, stability of the government of the concerned country, economic potential of the countries in question of these statements. तो इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन बी एंड सी आर करेक्ट. Demand for goods or services provided by the country concerned and stability of the government of the concerned country. तो इसी के साथ हमारा आज का टेस्ट सीरीज़ कंप्लीट हो गया है. तो अगर आप चैनल पर नए हैं तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और नोटिफिकेशन आइकन पर क्लिक कर दीजिए ताकि आपको सारे वीडियोस के अपडेट्स मिल सके. और अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो लाइक कर दीजिए, साथ ही अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर कीजिए ताकि उन्हें भी हेल्प हो सके. और अगर आपको वीडियो यूजफुल लगे तो मुझे कमेंट्स में बताइए. तो हमारा आज का ये वीडियो यहीं तक था. थैंक यू. थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग.